Happy Monday. Thank you for joining me for this week's Unlocking the Magic of Leadership. Now, this week we're going to be talking about a key that we don't really talk about a whole lot, and that key is align your purpose. And the reason why we don't talk about it a whole lot is it's a very individualistic piece. It's understanding your team so that you can help connect the organization's purpose to their individual purpose so they understand how it shows up. So align your purpose is that key that flows throughout all of the other ones. But as you know, I'm currently going to school for my Ph.D., and some of the research that I'm doing is around this concept called perceived organizational support. And what it means is that when an employee feels that their organization has their back, they perform better than if they feel that the organization doesn't have their back. Okay, makes perfect sense. Total common sense. Y'all know how I feel about the word common sense, right? I'm not a fan of it. And the reason why this is a really good example is because when we hear it, we're like, yes, I know that. But if we know it, then why aren't all employees feeling like they have high perceived organizational support? Then like their organization totally has their back. So we can know something, but whether or not we do it is two different things. So we're going to talk about POS, perceived organizational support, and as a leader, how you can enhance that experience for your employees. So the very first piece to that is show appreciation for your team. Did they do something hard? Did you just do a pizza party and say good job? Or did maybe you write a handwritten thank you note? Or spend some one-on-one time explaining to the individuals on your team what they individually did to make this a success? Break down it into behaviors instead of saying good job, saying this was really hard and I appreciate how you XYZ. When we are able to show appreciation, specific, actionable appreciation for our team's efforts, then they start feeling, okay, one, they see me. They see what I'm bringing to the team. And two, they value me. And that's important. Now, the second tool is to provide resources and support for your teams to achieve their goals. Have conversations. What are they wanting to achieve? What's important to them? It could be that they want to achieve work-life balance, and so they have absolutely no interest in doing a lateral move or upsetting anything. Okay, in what ways can you still keep them engaged without pushing them beyond that work-life balance that's super important to them? Or you could have somebody that is really hungry and really ambitious and really wants to take on the world. As leaders, for us, that's great, and sometimes it's a lot. So how can you help that person to understand what resources are available so that they can continue their development without them always coming to you and saying, what's next, boss? What's next, boss? What's next, boss? What are those stretch assignments that you can give? When we're able to individualize the resources and support that we give individuals, then again, they feel like their organization sees them, supports them, you have their back. And then the third tool is to foster a sense of belonging and community. This goes back to things like, do you have neurodivergent individuals on your team? Is your team accepting of gender, races, sexuality? Are you having trainings to help them identify differences in how they show up? And when we talk about differences, there's differences in the diversity, equity, and inclusion world, but there's also differences that we don't talk about as much. So that socioeconomic difference. Do you have somebody that has a lot of kids that maybe they're saving up for college? Maybe they don't have as much financial freedoms as somebody who doesn't have as many kids. That's a difference. Do you have individuals on your team that are married? Do you have individuals on your team that are single? They are going to be coming from different experiences as well. Neither is right or wrong, but it's different experiences. This brings to mind a training that I did where somebody shared at the height of COVID, they were suffering from infertility. They were trying to get pregnant and not succeeding. They were on their third round of infertility treatments. And somebody made the comment on a Teams call, oh, well, it's a good thing that you don't have kids. That way you don't have to deal with all of the changes in school. This was a completely innocent comment. That was a total gut punch to the person that was dealing with infertility. And so that person felt safe to bring it up to their leader because they dropped off the call. There was no conversation. There was nothing. They just dropped from the call. And they felt safe enough to have a conversation with their leader, explain what was going on, how it impacted them. And then they asked their leader to help them have a conversation with their team because they realized that this was probably not going to be the only time that innocent comment is made, that for that person is not an innocent comment. It is a total gut punch. And so when we're thinking through that, how, as a leader, how can we foster that sense to maintain that we're a safe space, that they can come to us, but also that we can help our teams navigate when maybe the space isn't safe for them. So we can see what that looks like. One of my favorite things to do to help show my team that I am a safe space is by putting up ally stickers for different employee resource groups. So LGBTQ, basically anybody that had any ally sticker whatsoever, I would have them. And I would find a way to make sure that they were in my office. On Zoom, I would have my name and then in parentheses, she/her. I would put my pronouns out there. Not because anybody doubted, but because that was showing my team that I'm a safe space. If you want to have this conversation, I'm here for you. So what are those ways that you can put out without saying, hey, y'all, I'm a safe space if you need anything, to show that you're a safe space? All right. When we're thinking about perceived organizational support, it is critical. All of the research, all of the data, all of the science, which I'm totally not going to bore you with, which is super fascinating, in my opinion, shows that when employees feel like their organization has their back, that they are seen and that they are heard, it makes a dramatic difference in their performance. And as a leader, 3 things that you can do to increase perceived organizational support: show appreciation, again, not just a thank you, specific appreciation, provide resources and support to help them achieve their goals, and then foster a sense of belonging and community. All right. Thank you for joining me for this week's Unlocking the Magic of Leadership. I hope you have an absolutely amazing week. And don't forget, as always, you got this. I'll see you next week.